Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Welcome to a late Sunday afternoon episode of Ted's Booze Cellar, the premier alcohol review show here on YouTube, with me, your most gracious host, Ted. It is just about to go 23 minutes past 5 on the 17th of August, 2025. I'm hoping I'm finding you all in a good state of affairs, and if I'm not, then I hope things improve for you very soon. So we're going to be taking a look at a drink today that I did once have in like a bottled format, but I think back then they made it using a different recipe to how it is made now, because I definitely don't remember having seen this for quite a long time since I was at uni actually. So I'm interested to see what this is like, because it's kind of like an adaptation of a beer that I have reviewed before that I wasn't particularly overly glowing on, and I'm kind of a bit sort of worried about this. So additionally, if I have reviewed this before, please go back to the original review and see what has changed between now and my original review. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure I haven't reviewed this particular version of this particular drink before. So today we're going to be taking a look at a drink from Foster's, and we're going to be taking a look at their proper Shandy, which, as you can see here, is a 3% ABV Shandy. As far as I know, it is essentially beer with lemonade, and sometimes it can have a bit of lime on it, and then other times it's like mostly beer and then it's a little bit of lemonade, so that's called a lemonade top or a lager top or something like that. So it says here, we've crafted this beer to thirst quenching perfection. Enjoy ice cold just as William and Ralph Foster would have wanted. Brewed in Europe by Heineken. Oh yeah, I forgot Foster's made by Heineken, even though it's meant to, be advertised as having originated from Australia. Yeah, it's made by a Dutch brewery and canned, I think, up in Scotland or somewhere here in England. So yeah, that's very authentic. But I will say, the colour of the can, not too bad. I actually quite like the lemony pattern, although it is a bit sort of bland and one note. But like the contrast of the colours against each other is quite nice. The mellowed out kind of sort of mellow gold as the background with like the blue outline, and then the bright yellow lemon shapes, like that actually looks quite all right. And then the contrast against the Foster's logo does look pretty okay too. The silver top here is just like a bit weird. I personally would have gone for just making the whole top of the can blue and then having like the writing of Foster's here stand out a bit more by making it white or like black maybe, but that's just a personal design pick, I think. So I'll give the can a 7 out of 10. It is a bit busy in terms of like the line design on the can, and I feel like you could add a bit more detail in some areas and not necessarily have it in others, but it's it's a fine looking can. Look, don't get it wrong, it's not ugly or anything. So while I'm opening this can, I'll have a look at the prices on some of the different websites of the supermarkets where you can buy this. So at Asda, you can get a 4-pack of this 440 milliliter can for $3.78. And then the 10-pack is $6.97. That's $6.97 for 10 shandies. That's really good value for money. And then Sainsbury's is 4 cans for $3.80. Tesco, you can get 10 cans for $9.25 or 4 for $3.75. And then Waitrose, you actually can't buy this. I thought you would be able to buy this at Waitrose because I know they sell the normal Fosters there, but instead they just sell 10 packs of normal Fosters there for 10 quid. Then at Ocado, they sell 10 packs of this for $9.50 and 4 packs for 4 quid. I think Ocado is the most expensive place for a 4-pack of this stuff out of the places that I looked at. And then Morrison's is 9 quid for a 10-pack and then $3.75 for a 4-pack. So yeah, I got this from Sainsbury's, so that would have been, let's see, $3.80 for a 4-pack. So those are the prices of the places I looked up. There might be other places where this is sold, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100%. So let's have a quick snifter of it to see what our first impressions are like, and we'll do that first in the can. Doesn't really smell of much. Yeah, it's just not a bad nose. It's just a very basic shandy smell, like slightly beery, a little bit lemony. Smells nice. It's just not very remarkable. And yeah, 5.5 out of 10. Just all right, really. Let's see, let's pour it into the tankard glass and see what it looks like as a colour. Nice golden hue. Let's have a quick snifter of it, see what our first impressions are like in the glass. Yeah, just much of the same, really. Yeah, it's just kind of like a beery smell with like a lemony aftertint. Like there's not much to it. It's just a bit more prominent because there's more room to breathe in the glass. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's just not a particularly remarkable nose. It's just very there, I guess. But anyway, before we see what the sucker really tastes like, we'll have ourselves a quick palate cleanser of water. And while it's hot weather at the moment, do remember to stay hydrated. And then on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this sucker tastes like. So, to everyone at home, I hope you have a great week ahead, and I hope you've had a good or at least productive weekend. And until next time, bottoms up. It's a lot more palatable than canned Fosters because I really don't like canned Fosters. It is refreshing. Yeah, there's not really much to say about this, to be honest. I'm kind of at a bit of a loss for words, but not necessarily in the most positive way. I mean, it's not like it's a bad drink. It's actually fairly nice, but it's just a very unremarkable, okay drink. Its main weaknesses is that all of the flavours in it are fairly muted and quite sort of like mellow, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just think for this kind of drink you'd expect it to be a bit more vibrant, at least with that citrusy flavour, maybe with a little bit of a hoppy aftertaste to kind of contrast that citrusiness. But I don't know, it's not like a bad taste or anything, it's just very one note. See. Yeah, it just does taste like a weak lager with a slightly low grade but still generally quite refreshing and fairly nice lemonade, and that's basically it. It does just basically taste like you've just gotten home brand lager and just mixed it with like a okay level like lemonade. But to be honest with you, as nice as this is, and it is pretty cheap, so like I think if you just want something quick and refreshing and easy to take with you to like the beach or like a house party, or you can't be bothered to make your own shandy, definitely go for this because it's pretty cheap at most of the places where you can find it, and it is generally pretty nice and refreshing. The flavour is good, although it is a bit one note and kind of subdued and muted, but I don't know, it's nice enough. It's much better than mainline sort of canned Fosters, but I don't know, I do quite like it. Yeah, it's not going to blow you away, but it's a cheap, lemony, refreshing alternative to a beer, and I will give it a 6 out of 10. The only thing I will say is if you are wanting to go out of your way to get a shandy or drink shandy, like I would honestly just get a nicer beer like San Miguel and just get like a big bottle of like chilled lemonade or something and just have at that. But to be honest with you, you could definitely do a hell of a lot worse. And it is cheap. It is pretty nice in all honesty. And it's only 3% alcohol volume, so you're not going to get absolutely sloshed off of it. So I will say 6 out of 10. And it has, you know, a bit of appreciation from me on top of that scoreline because I do feel like it gets a little bit of leeway from me personally just because it is so cheap. So yeah, go out of your way to have a pop at this and see what you think. And I mean, it's so cheap, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not massive, like, loss. But anyway, if you guys liked this video, leave a like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you want to check out any of my social medias, I'll leave those in the video description down below. I didn't mean to necessarily do a lemony theme this week, but I hope you guys have enjoyed. And until next time, like I said, leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, wash your hands, drink responsibly, know your limits, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye-bye for now.